Oi, welcome to Set the Trend Live. We're back again. The boys are back on a Wednesday, 9 p.m. live. Again, with some good old communications, talkings, discussions, and polls. But we'll take you through that in a minute. So welcome to our listeners. Remember, you can view us on Facebook or we're on twitch.tv. Search Fifth Avenue Official for that one. Or check us out on YouTube at our official channel, Set the Trend Podcast, live on YouTube. So just Google that. So if you can't view us on Facebook, then send it to your mates, and they will be able to see us on those other channels. So it's good to be back. How are we doing? Michael Wickedman Fontaine, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Regarding circumstances, yeah, I'm shaping up. I'm good. No complaints.
You look like you've had a shape up.
No, natural look. No, a little shape up, yes.
And who did it? Was that self shape up or
self shape up? Self
shape up? Not bad, mate.
No.
Yeah. Suits you. Who else is in the building? So we have our resident Reggie Heavy Styles and go-getter and entrepreneur. How are you, sir?
I'm Reggie Styles today, man. It's it's my birthday. It's Stevie. Happy birthday to me. Happy. I'm only joking. I'm joking. Yeah. How you doing, guys? You all right?
You What's the point of that? Huh? Tell me why you did that, please. I just
because it's his birthday today. So why not?
Oh, it's Stevie's birthday.
Okay. Yeah, he's a legend, Reggie.
Exactly.
You've got to compose yourself for that and, deal with it properly. He's 70 years old.
I know. He's a legend.
You've got to salute the man, not take the mickey out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was a tribute to his birthday to say, look, you know what? Saluting the guy. Come on, man. Come on, guys. I would never ever do that. Of course not.
We like giving you a hard time, though, Reggie. You know that, right?
Well, yes. And, and I would like to say, of course, happy birthday to him as well. Celebrating his 70th birthday today.
Indeed.
The man of music, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
The man, even. Man. Right, so we got a packed show today. We have, we're going to talk through, we're going to talk about some of our dearly departed artists who have fallen gone to the heavens, should I say, over the last week and a bit. We're also going to talk about Zoom parties and are they the way ahead? And we have some guests in for that. And at the end of the show, what else we got to talk about? Bring back partying, Zooms, and we're gonna ask the ravers for their opinions, aren't we? Something like that?
Yes, we are.
Isn't that what it is?
It's the ravers edition, and we got a special poll. We want some feedback. We want to speak to our audience, and we're going to go through that in the second half of the show, which I think will be quite interesting.
I know it'll be about 10 o'clock now. Apologies that we were on air late. We had a little technical problem that we couldn't sort out, so we do apologise for that. Right, so our polls. We've got 3 polls running, which we want you to engage with. We want you to go to, you can either find it on either one of our pages, and that's Reggie Styles or Michael Fontaine or Set the Trend Podcast. You can find the polls there. They've been shared to all those pages and Fifth Avenue, and you can answer those polls if you want to. When we tell you what they're about, the first question that we asked was, how likely are you to attend mass gatherings, social distancing included, once the lockdown is fully lifted? So there's a poll there you can answer. It's either very, possibly, or unlikely. So you can answer one of those questions there. 2, will you be willing to pay for Zoom parties in the interim as a norm? Yes, no, maybe. 3, last but not by no means least, would paperless payments give you more assurance in minimizing the future spread of coronavirus? Yes, no, maybe. So if you want to take part in our poll, you can do so by going to those pages. And we've already had people asking them because we posted them in earlier on today. So you can go there and come and check it out. Okay? Is that cool?
100%. Sounds good to me, mate.
And we will be discussing the polls at the end of the show. So we'll be digging into it. And when people come on to ask questions. We'll be asking questions about that. Right, so the first thing that we're going to discuss was the Instagram battle. It wasn't really a battle, it was more like a loving between Erykah Badu and Jill Scott. It's not really a battle, is it? I mean,
Nah.
they were so nice to each other and complimentary.
There's a whole lot of love in there, mate. I'm telling you. Whole lot of love.
Did you feel the love?
100%, 100%. I really enjoyed it, you know, because I've watched a couple of those verses which Timbaland and Swiss Beats have put together, and it was amazing to hear the stories and just to see the camaraderie between the two beautiful, lovely ladies who put out some great soul music, and it was definitely refreshing. And I think a lot of people definitely felt the love as well watching it. So as much as I did, and I love the after party as well, which was cool.
Yeah,
Erykah,
I didn't even know she was doing one.
Yeah, she did it on her
website.
That
before that. What did you think about it, Eastern?
I thought it was a celebration of black music. Two of our favorite neo soul artists. You know what? Everyone asks the question, who do you think won? Who won? You know, in my opinion, who was the winner? I think.
Do we need to know a winner? Do we really need to know?
Well,
who won?
I think
Doesn't really matter.
It wasn't that type of thing.
It's not. But when we talk about battles, there's always a winner and a loser.
No.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Super Kids Sound Clash, are we?
Yeah. there doesn't always have to be a winner.
Exactly.
Who won? I think won.
East.
Definitely the winner.
East, mate, we're going to have to cut you off if you don't fix your mic, mate. I don't know what's happening. You're in and out
What's
like
happened
some
there?
Dalek. I don't know, mate. You're in and out like a Dalek. Go on.
How's that sounding? That sounding better?
It is.
Oh, good. I'm not sure what happened there. Yes, I would say, look, the winner for me, black music won that night. Like the other night when we had Teddy and the other dude. 3 million people.
Don't disrespect Babyface ever in your musical lifetime.
Yeah. Who won? All right, let's go back. Who won? I reckon Scott, people's favourite. Jilly from Philly, I think she was people's favourite. She had the better songs. But I did really like, I think I'm more of an Erykah fan anyway. So I'm a bit,
biased.
Yes. Yeah, a bit biased. I did enjoy songs.
And what was your favourite moment?
You know what? I just loved the conversations between the two of them. I thought that was just like, I would, it's a dream as a journalist to be sitting down and interviewing those two. And, not being there and just listening to them converse, I thought it was amazing. That was my favourite part. I loved the conversations in between and the love they had for each other. I thought it was fantastic.
Reggie, what was your favourite moment?
The after party. Hearing Erykah Badu play some tunes. But actually, the part of the actual clash itself, no bias. I mean, I'm a big Erykah Badu fan as well. But Jill Scott, she's the woman. She is the woman, man. She's the lady. She was so composed. I think so eloquently spoken. I think when they were breaking down like some of the music and the stories behind them, like I said before, that was kind of like all of it was really, really good. Really loved it, mate.
Some of the people say, go on, Ish.
No, I wanted to hear your opinion. What did you think?
Let me go to some of the viewers. I'm just scrolling down some of the messages that are there. Carol Francis says we all won. Queens. Darren D-Mac, Mr. D-Mac thinks Jill won.
Jilly from Philly.
Yeah. Prue says, don't call it a battle if it wasn't a battle. So I said it wasn't really a battle. You know what I mean? Listen, for me, I don't want to be sitting on the fence like certain panels members do. I was swaying towards Erykah because Erykah's my artist, but I thought the way that Jill started delivering certain tunes, afterwards was like, right, did Erica draw for all her big ones? You know what I mean? Right up front. And then Jill seemed to have some gems that was just coming down the line at her.
Yeah.
So it looked like to me, it wasn't a battle to me, but if it was that, I would say maybe Jill just edged it. You get me? But the culture won, and to me, that is the main thing.
That's the main thing.
You know what I mean? And I think the culture came out tops on that, and we should see more of those kind of.
Well, Donnie and Omar are on tomorrow.
What time are they on again?
8 o'clock.
Okay, so
Donnie and Omar are supposed to be on tomorrow, so let's see if that's going to be another kind of like bromance type thing, isn't it?
Well, it should be.
They're paying respect to each other. Yeah, they're part of the same. But you never know, you know. It's just like if I was to clash you, right? But it's clashing, isn't it?
That's right. The friendship gone out the window. I call you E.T. and all sorts.
I know.
Anyway,
exactly. And I call you Cashew.
Anyway, I like that one, Reg. I do. Karen Scarlett says Jill has lyrical depth and substance, but you can't beat that, in my opinion. Jill does write some fantastic songs, but so does Erica in her own. She's the one for me. I would rather go to an Erica Badu concert than go to a Jill Scott one. But saying that, Jill did drop some gems. She really did. She dropped some of the old blues dance warehouse favorite ones that was in there, and you could almost feel yourself go back to in time when we used to go to the blues dances. Oh, well, when I used to go to the frequent blues dances more than I do. And we used to play in the warehouses a lot, and those tunes used to play, and you really felt that you were back there again.
I had the fortunate experience of actually being part of Jill Scott's campaign for Hidden Beach. So, you know, she's definitely done really well.
And did you guys like the Kung Fu background in Erica?
She was sending a message.
Yeah, exactly.
She was sending a message.
But Erica's like that though. Erica's one of those people, because I remember we had her down at the Curtain, and she did she was DJing down there, and it was really, really good. And that's just how she is. That's just Erica Badu, man. She's one of those, as somebody said, I just saw a comment, Lisa Scarlett says, you know, she is just musically spiritual. And I think that's a great way to kind of like sum up.
But she's so in her zone. She's so in that zone where 15, 20, 30 years ago, you'd get kind of almost ultimately laughed about.
Yeah.
It's like, there's something with you, but you can see she's just in that happy place. She's got happy thoughts. She's being positive. You know what I mean? Everything that kind of says how the world should be now and you should be to each other.
Yeah.
Is Erica Badu.
Exactly. Yeah. I liked her also in Real Husbands of Hollywood? She was in that with Kevin Hart. His series. Okay. Pretty good in that as well. Anyway, we digress, as they say.
We do digress, right? So that's that. And we wanted to just touch on some of our dearly departed artists who have fallen and gone to pastures new. Their spirit has arisen, and they've gone to pastures new over the last 7 days. I don't know, I'm there. The first one that we wanted to pay tribute to was the originator, the king of rock and roll, the king with a capital
King,
P-H-E, the king of rock and roll, Little Richard.
Tutti frutti, oh fruity, tutti frutti.
Hold on. Do you know? Listen, I don't know how to put this, because just by doing some research, which is what you do. I've been a DJ for so long, and sometimes you don't know the meanings of songs that you play. Do you know what Tutti Frutti is?
Come on, Ray. I'm not going to say it on here because I've got youngsters watching.
Okay, but you do, yeah?
So as the elder statesman, I think that's something that you should definitely say the meaning of.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there. All I would say is that he was quite a flamboyant artist. I didn't know it was that. Did you know it was that, Easter?
I still don't know what it was. What was it?
Oh.
Well, quite a few of them were like that in that day, though, isn't it? You know. So.
Yeah, quite a few. Put it this way, it's a song that I used to find. I was okay in saying I find pleasure in singing Tutti Frutti. Just infectious lyrics.
Yeah.
You get me? But when you find out, when he kind of puts, it's
he says it in the thing. I had a girl named Sue. She didn't know what to do. You kind of like on the way there, innit?
Yeah, but it wasn't about Sue.
Yeah, I know.
That's the problem. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I was like, bruh, is that what it meant? When I found out, I was, look, bruh, kind of like I'm flipping 25. I went, wow, is that what it was meant? Is that what I was singing? This is the reason sometimes that you're supposed to pay more attention to the lyrics, and sometimes you pay attention to the chorus, and you don't really know what a song means, and it's really sometimes deep. You get me, Rich? Deep.
Yeah.
When you know what a song means. So I ain't saying what it means, but he's still a top artist. The king of rock and roll. They never really give him his dues. They try to pin it on Jerry Lewis and Elvis Presley, and they kind of writ him out of history. He didn't even get a Grammy. He didn't even get a Grammy nomination or even to be honored as the king of rock and roll, which is really pee-taking. You know what I mean? And he is the guy that everybody says originated rock and roll, started from him.
Let's hope he gets these flowers now, mate. You know what I mean?
I'm sure he will.
Flowers now. So
good golly, Mr. Marley.
Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. Marley.
And from Little Richard, we go on to another originator of Afrobeats, the drummer, an old bandmate of Fela Kuti, Tony
Great
Allen.
Fella. Yeah, great Fela Kuti. Fela Kuti's like an African god.
Don.
Yeah, musical god.
Yeah.
He's one of the first artists that I personally became aware of when I was younger. And his music, we used to play them in a lot of used to hear it quite a lot in a lot of the African christenings and weddings and parties. And, Tony Allen being the drummer, obviously. There's so much great footage actually online of Fela Kuti and his band. He's somebody that sadly I never ever got to see live. I was supposed to see it before at when they do
Fela Kuti or Tony Allen?
Fela Kuti.
Okay.
But he's part of his band, obviously. So it would have been great to get to see Tony Allen and Fela live performing. So
there wouldn't be any Afrobeat if it wasn't for Fela Kuti and Tony Allen.
Tony Allen, that's right. They wouldn't be.
There wouldn't be that style of African music.
There wouldn't be Afrobeat then, would there? Let's just call it like it is.
As an African, let's not get into it.
Did they originate it or not? Did they originate it or not? Did they originate Afrobeat?
They were one of the originators of Afrobeat.
They made it popular then, right?
Of course, they were revered.
So let's give it to them.
I
don't know why we do this.
Synonymous with reggae, and that's literally, Fela Kuti.
Yeah, but they do call Bob Marley the greatest.
And Fela Kuti is up there.
And I suppose, and then another one to sadly pass away this week, is Andre Harrell.
Before we go there, let's not miss out Millie Small.
Oh yeah, Millie Small.
Jamaica, born in Jamaica, Clarendon, a Jamaican. My boy Lollipop. I don't think you could go to any wedding and you don't hear that song playing.
Any party, literally.
Yeah.
It's funny actually. I didn't even know that she was still alive. She's like, when you look at all these revival events and all these old nostalgia artists, I haven't seen Millie Small on any of those flyers. I wonder if there was a reason why she wasn't performing in the last 20 years or so.
Okay, after My Boy Lollipop, she just wasn't able to get that hit, the follow-up. And this is the thing, it's like you can have a great hit record or hit song, and it's so hard to find a follow-up which is just as good or just as big. I mean, there's lots of one-hit wonders that have come through. So she did try
Gloria Gaynor
that stuff. Yeah, I mean, she has tried to put out music, but
I always thought she was a one-hit wonder. But like this year, she won a Grammy for one of her albums that's just recently come out.
Yeah.
So, you know, like when we keep saying, "Oh, I will survive, but no, there's more music behind her.
Yeah.
But she was a Jamaican dancehall favourite. They loved her music in Jamaica, even though she moved to New York to go and record that tune. I mean, that's where she went to live, and she
lived in London as well.
Yeah, she did. Yep. She did. And My Boy Lollipop was #1.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Listen,
#1 on top
that
of the
literally, you know what? My Boy Lollipop was one of those synonymous records that helped to fuse the black and whites in the dancehall in the UK and Britain. You know, that record brought everybody together, from the black community, the white community, the Asian community. You know, that was the beginning of ska reggae as we know it in the UK. And we've got to definitely show a lot of homage and respect to be able to do that. You know,
Millie Smalls. And you were saying the great legend himself,
Andre Harrell.
Andre Harrell.
You know, look, the importance of that guy is unbelievable to our culture as we know it from the 90s all the way up. You know, if it wasn't for him, there would be no Heavy D, no Albie Shaw, no Guy. Before we start talking about Mary J. Blige and Jodeci and all the others.
For real.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, I think as a DJ, you know, Uptown Records, you know, I so look forward to the promos.
Yeah.
You know, that yellow and pink and those sleeves. If you've got any of those.
Cat, with the cool cat on it.
Yeah, you know, like that, you know, that was special.
Listen, if it wasn't for him, he bridged R&B and hip hop. Hip hop was hip hop back in the day. Soul music was soul music, and it wasn't really a crossover. He was the first one that brought that style with his Uptown Records, and he just totally started a brand new, an almost brand new culture within cultures.
I'm just about to say that. I'm shivering right now because he literally, Uptown Records was a culture within itself. The way that they operated, the way people dressed. Rest in peace to Kim, who was the receptionist who went on to become P. Diddy's mother of P. Diddy's child. You know, so everything about Uptown Records was just so different to everybody else.
And if it wasn't for him, there may not have been no Puff Daddy, there may not have been no 112, because obviously he mentored Puff Daddy for years and then let him go, as in told him, you've outgrown Uptown Records, there's nothing more that I can offer you here, you need to go and start your own label, and encouraged him to do so and mentored him while he did that.
Indeed, and also he obviously was the person who was responsible for a lot of Motown record stuff as well. And
he signed Robin Thicke, didn't he, to Motown?
Thicke. So many
great... to MCA, should I say, MCA?
Oh, yeah, but let's not be... I mean, when you talk about he signed Robert Thicke, remember, he was the executive producer on Blurred Lines, which is the biggest radio song in history.
Yeah, one of the biggest,
No, the biggest. Unless there's something that came after Blurred Lines, which was only 5 years ago. So if you can name that,
Happy,
then I'll have that.
Wasn't Happy bigger than Blurred Lines?
Happy was after.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, we could be wrong, so we put it out there. You know what I mean? We could be wrong, but as far as I'm concerned, I've done my little research. Blurred Line is the biggest radio tune over the years. And he also was a producer and created New York Undercover, which was a series that ran in the States, in the United States of America. And it was pretty groundbreaking at the time.
Yeah.
And it was the first multicultural series as well as. And that was starring Malik Yoba.
I like that bit of research there.
Come on, mate, I do my stuff, bro.
You know, Ray's like the GCHQ of...
do my stuff, man. I do my stuff. Yeah, so we have to get it right when we talk about our legends. We just have to get it right.
100%. It's just... Did you ever meet him, Ray, or Michael, when he came over to the UK?
No, never.
Okay. I met him in America. I don't know if you can remember those How Can I Be Down conferences.
Yeah.
He was on the panel one day. He was on the panel, and you know, after the panel, he came up. I went over there, spoke to him, and look, he was one of the guys that America looking for promos. You know, I would go to MCA and he would say, look, this guy's from London. He would say to his team, like, this guy's from London, give him what he wants. You know, he's a DJ on a radio station, give him what he wants. And I used to come out there with a box full of records, which I couldn't carry back to my hotel room.
Yeah.
You know, you had to jump in the taxi, drop them off, and then come back and go to the next record label.
Yeah.
I think me and Ray went, we went a couple of times.
Yeah.
I did. You brought me in?
Yeah. Lucky guy,
you know, and just walking into, you know, we couldn't walk into the MCA in the UK, but we was at home in
all of them.
It was,
Atlantic, Bad Boy, Def Jam. We walked into Motown.
Yeah, good old days.
I was fortunate enough to once meet him, and that was by chance, where I was meeting Kevin Lyles at the time, and he was having dinner at the Ivy.
And Kevin Lyles is who? And Kevin Lyles.
Well, he's now one of the presidents of his own company, 300. He was one of the executives of Def Jam, and then he moved on to Warner Records, and now he set up his own company. He's like a legendary executive, Kevin Lyles. So yeah, that's it. It was the only time I got to meet him, and I didn't really have that much of a conversation, to be fair, because I'm just in awe, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, when you're young.
So before we go into big up to talk about some of our other artists, just like to say a big hi going out to Basil, Carol, Lisa, Darren, Sonia, Cheryl, Lolly, Michael, all logged in.
Yep.
Dion, Anika, Prue, Debs, all logged in to the show at the moment. Thank you for taking your time to be here. Right. We've got a guest on this. We need to talk about a trailblazer for the UK. One of the UK's biggest hip hop artists. First released his song in 2001, I do believe. MC Ty. I think we should have, or we should be getting on the old phone, DJ 279 to talk us through a bit about him. Doesn't look like he's here yet. But Reggie, do you want to tell us do you want to tell us a little bit about MC Ty? Well, and he's from Brixton, right? He's a Brixton.
Well, yeah, Brixton, yeah. But you see him all the time in Brixton. The last time I saw Ty was in Brixton, which was a fleeting passing around about kind of like Christmas time. And before that, I was doing a conference seminar panel in Leicester for one of my boys, Atish Stavdar in Leicester. They've got a great outfit called Too Funky, and they had a festival going on for the whole weekend. And him, Rodney P, and also Tony Rotten from Black Twang, you know, they've created this thing called the Three Kings.
Yes.
So that's the last time I had a proper conversation with him, which was up in Leicester. And I've still got the video, which I found, luckily, and it was just such sad news to hear about his passing. And, you know, Ty's somebody who has 100% been that artist that is a very good hip-hop artist, lyricist, rapper, but for some reason the mainstream UK has never embraced him in the same way that quite a few of these current grime artists have been given their flowers. He never got the same flowers like quite a few of the previous UK rappers, but the guy just...
And that wasn't down to his lyrical skill or anything. He was like, you know, top of the game. I just think, you know, again, the UK at that time weren't ready for UK rap artists. They just wasn't ready. And, you know, I've spoken to Ty a couple of times, and, you know, I just like reasoning with him and the encouragement that he would, you know, he would never say a bad word about anybody.
Very humble.
He was
very humble,
very kind-hearted, and, you know, true to his game. You know,
and we can see that in. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, you know, true to his game, dedicated to his game, loved it 100%.
And we can see that in some of the tributes that have come in from him that people have been writing about. He got a big tribute from Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Described him as a UK hip hop pioneer.
100%. 100%.
I think he did a tune with Ty, but back in the day as well.
Idris?
Yeah, Idris and Ty, they did a tune back in the day. Actor Noel Clarke also paid tributes to him. Roots Maneuver, which he did a tune with. Grime rapper Gets from over in East London there. He's sending tributes to him. Said he was one of the first from the older generation to embrace him and show him love. Ghost poet, because he was also a poet as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he used to go to a lot of the live speech events as well and rock up and do his thing. And I mean,
and also a tribute paid by Giles Peterson.
Yeah, of course he would do. Yeah, Giles Peterson. You know, Giles Peterson's one of those people anyway that kind of like where we or some people from the street sound scene might not have embraced an artist like Ty. People like Giles Peterson would always give somebody like Ty his records a play, and I think he kind of like fell also into what we used to call the backpacker hip hop. You know, like Jurassic 5 and Gangster and Primo and stuff like that. He's definitely up there on that level of one of those artists that kind of like crossed over to a great audience, but people just didn't know that. You know, people just weren't aware of his talent and his skill and his lyricism within the street sound community. Have you ever played a Ty records, Ray, in a gig?
I haven't actually, which is kind of...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, it's nothing against yourself. It's just obviously, you know, some artists fit in a particular way. And it's just, I think it's injustice that, because I remember he called me up. He said, Reg, you got a new single. I said, let me hear it. I heard the record. I said, no, I'm just going to mail this out for you. I didn't even charge him. I just said, look, I'm going to mail it out. And that's the level of respect that I had for him and the love that I had for somebody like a Ty. You know, it's not...
Wasn't he nominated for a Mercury as well?
Yeah, Mercury Music Prize back in the day, yeah, as well. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man.
We should. I think we're going to have to go to our next one and then come back with 279 to finish off that tribute, because I think he's having a bit difficulty trying to get through.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want to tell you the next artist is kind of your artist, Extender. I think I'll leave you with, you know, to leading our next guest on that.
I think
he's on the line.
I'd rather you. Oh,
he's on the line, ready for you.
Oh, thank you.
279. Okay.
Numbers. Hello, can't hear him now. Numbers.
Yeah.
Can't hear him.
He's not there.
Can't hear him.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Live.
Hey, this is live, so you know.
Live, yeah. Director.
We try and.
No, but we're normally quite smooth, though. We're normally quite smooth. Normally quite smooth, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come back.
Quite smooth.
Come back to him in about 5 minutes.
All right. And even big up to Shugs. He's just mentioned that De La Soul paid tribute to Ty as well. De La Soul, legendary, huge group.
And Estelle as well.
Of course,
Estelle and Ty was like fantastic relationship.
Yeah.
But you know, on Sunday, unfortunately, we had the sad news that soul singer Miss Betty Wright, legend in the game, sadly passed away, and it kind of broke my heart when I heard that news. And even now, it's still raw inside of me. I don't even really. It hurts so much right now that I don't even like talking about it. It was. I think yesterday was the first time I had a full length conversation about Miss Betty Wright, and as you know, I promoted her in the UK for the last good 12 years. But we've got someone on the line who's known her for 40 years. Actually, Betty Wright's manager in the UK. I'd like to welcome Alistair Abrahams to Set the Trend. Alistair, are you there?
Alistair.
Aha. Hello, sir. Welcome to Set the Trend, Alistair. Got to turn your mic on.
Oh, there we go.
Aha.
Connecting to audio.
Connecting. Hello. Alistair, you there?
Yes, I am, Michael. How are you?
Heartbroken, tell you the honest truth. Sister Betty Wright, Miss B, many different names for her. It's a sad loss, a very sad loss, musically. And I know you've known her for 40 years. You know, how did you feel when you first heard the news?
I didn't believe it, or I did believe it, but I just couldn't accept it. The last conversation I had with her was 3 weeks ago, and she called. We had this video call. It was a wonderful conversation. We were talking about future projects, a Christmas album, plus a play that had been written for her, based on the music of Bill Withers and Gil Scott-Heron. And we were discussing all these things, the way forward. She was in great form. She sang, she hit that top C note of hers. And then a parting comment was, wow, look at the time I've got to go. And off she went to, because she was doing a tutorial with Skip Marley for the Lady Gaga concert. It was kind of hard to believe that 3 weeks later she'd be gone. Devastating.
And, you know, Betty Wright, she's always, you know, teaching other musicians, you know, how to make their game perfect. Some of the singers that she was, you know, training and giving them her craft to was who?
Well, the first time I got to know Betty, I was in LA, and well, I knew her then, but I was in LA and she happened to be there. So she was giving Janet Jackson vocal lessons. She did people like Jennifer Lopez. She used to work a lot with Gloria Estefan. Everyone, I mean, she worked with P. Diddy on that program of his. And I can't.
Making the Bands.
That's it.
Yeah.
And she worked with the band there. But she also did a lot of interesting things, like the people she brought into the business. Gwen McRae and George McRae.
Yeah.
But the one that she was very close to, that she brought into the business and actually started off in the business, was Gwen Dickey of Rolls Royce.
Oh.
And Gwen went on to sell millions of records.
Now you know, you know Betty very well. Now, Betty writes always stories to her friends. What's your favorite Betty Wright story? I know there's many.
There are so many, but I think the one that really sticks in my mind was the time her son died, and I flew to Miami to go console and be with her at the funeral. And she had this group of ladies. She said, look, this is Alistair, take care of him. And they all told me they worked for this group, Revelation Seed. And then they sang for me, and they had voices, the voices of angels. And I said, well, how did you get to know Betty? And all of a sudden the story comes out. One, well, I did 25 years. The other one, I did 18. The other one I did. I said, oh yeah. So here's these 4 angelic women, all relating the time that they did. And I think it was like 125 years between all of them. But the thing that struck me the most was, one said, you know, I'd never have done time, because everywhere I went, I'd walk out with a 45 strapped to the inside of my car. And on the day I left it, I got. But the point I'm trying to make is that Betty brought these people into her home all the time. And it didn't matter who they were, what they had done. She's always trying to help them get themselves together. There was someone else that she worked with who played with Casey and the Sunshine Band. I won't mention his name, but he served a murder charge. And when he came out of prison, Betty opened her home, and he stayed with her, and she helped revive him, helped get him back on his feet. And it wasn't easy, because everyone that was around her was very demanding, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially. But she always found time. I tell her, Betty, every freak I know in my life, I've met through you. So that's, if I had to tell a story, it would be about her kindness, about the things that she did for those less fortunate than herself. That's how I'd like to remember her. not as the great artist that she was.
So, hello, Alistair. It's
Hi.
Vibes here speaking.
Might drop that.
With Betty Wright, she was such an infectious person, an infectious character. You kind of felt the love around her as soon as she was around. I'm sure that she could have been a right old battle axe when she was ready, because I know she was a perfectionist. But how is that feeling with her family now? How are her family feeling? Because her daughters came on tour with her. I met her daughters last year when she came on tour to the UK, to the Royal, to the, where was we playing?
Was that the Barbican?
The Barbican. That's right. How are they feeling? How's the family feeling?
Well, the family are very, very torn. They were a very close family. Betty worked with her entire family. They're mega, mega talented. And they've just lost their mother, their boss, their best friend, and their mentor. So it's very, very difficult.
And they were a business, wasn't they? It was a family. Betty Wright was a family-run business, wasn't it? You know, it seems weird to speak about it in those terms.
It was, and that's one of the things that is going to be difficult. How do we sort it out? How do we get a legacy together? She's written all these hundreds of songs, and she was very, very meticulous about what she did. But it's going to be an awesome battle to put everything together.
Yeah, I mean, Betty's catalogue is just amazing. Hello, Alistair. How you doing? I'm Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
I play on a radio station for about 6-7 years called London Soul Radio, and every single day you will hear guaranteed a Betty Wright song on our station. And you know, for me at the weekend doing my show, I kind of like played some of her newer music, which she recorded with songs like with the Roots, and also recently she always kept in with what was happening, because she's got a record which she recorded with DJ Khaled as well. She kind of like crossed the generations by producing some great music with that amazing voice and stage presence. And for me, I just want to say, you know, as one of her records she recorded, thank you so much, you know, to Betty for the music, and thank you so much for providing us with a great soundtrack to my life as well. From, you know, some of the records like Woman, I'm smiling in my head thinking things like Woman to Woman. And, you know,
that was Shirley Brown.
That was Shirley Brown.
Sorry, I've gone not Woman to Woman.
Sorry.
Keep Love New. Sorry, it's my bad. I was thinking something different.
We'll put that one in the can, Reggie.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, I know. Apologies about that, Alistair. Love New. That's the record that I was thinking of. And,
but Alistair, there's many stories behind her record writing, isn't there? That was reality. That, you know, some of those records that she went on before that people don't know. She was just so clever in bringing her life into the open and making that part of everybody else's kind of journey.
Well, it was, and I used to also manage Isaac Hayes, and I remember a conversation that we Isaac and I had, and he said, you know, my biggest mistake was I was not like Betty Wright. So I said, okay, what do you mean by that? He said, well, when I got famous, I kind of changed. I forgot who I was. Said, yet when I used to play a concert, wherever I went, you get all the brothers dressing up and, man, where you going? I'm going to see my man Mose. You know, his girlfriend would be dressed 9 to the T's, very ghetto, fabulous. But he said when he got famous, he kind of drifted away from that. And he wished that he retained his core artists like Betty had. And that was the thing about Betty, although she was much older than the likes of Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, Rick Ross, DJ Khaled. All these guys grew up with their mothers and fathers playing her music.
Exactly, 100%.
And that's what she brought. I remember once we were sitting there and she gets this call and she says, oh, look, we've got to go off and we're going to check into a hotel. I said, okay, what's what's happening? Have you been evicted? She said, kinda. I'll call you back later and I'll tell you about it. So I'm sitting there wondering. But it was Lil Wayne. He called and said, look, I've got this song. Go over to this hotel. It was all very top secret because all these rappers get their songs ripped off and released as soon as it's finished recording. So they go off to this hotel and they record the song on an iPad, just like we talking now. And that was Fire on the Carter 3. That went straight to #1 and sold millions of copies. But it literally took 15 minutes to put that down.
Wow.
And the record was out very, very soon after that. And that was Betty. She could go into the studio, give it to me. Betty, you got that? Shall I give you the lyrics? No, it's okay, baby. I got it. And it's out like that.
Yeah,
but,
there's many, many, many great Betty Wright songs. Do you have a personal favorite of your own?
Top 3, Alistair, because I know it's going to be too difficult to do one probably. Top 3.
Okay. The one I like is my #1 song has got to be Moon River, which very few people have heard. But what it was when we went to Zimbabwe, Betty and I had these friends and they hosted a dinner for her. And sadly, their son was killed in a car crash. And when Betty heard this, she was devastated because that night he played piano and we were all singing along at his house. So when Betty heard this, typical Betty, she said, can you get me some of his recordings? So I sent her a whole host of recordings. And I get a call from her later, said, look, I've put this together. I'm really sorry it took me so long. But it actually, and she did this version of Moon River. And then when I heard the story afterwards, it took her 21 takes because every time she'd try and sing the song, she'd break down and cry.
Wow.
And for Betty to take 21 takes to do any song. Then the other song I love is The Sun Don't Shine on Me.
Yep.
But I think that of all her favorite songs, of all the songs that I like, The Sun Don't Shine on Me. I love the live version of Clean Up Woman that she did.
Good.
When we did a live video in London at Hammersmith, and she did all of these takes on all the big artists, from the OJs to, so it was absolute those have got to be my 3 favorite songs.
I mean her live shows are amazing. And look, we've done every show she's done, she's never repeated the same show. And they've always been like top draw. You know, sadly, she's going to be missed. I want to say thank you for coming on Set the Trend. On behalf of the UK and on behalf of the Set the Trend, we want to send condolences to the family. And I'm sure you can pass that on for us.
I will pass that on. And you, Michael, are very close to the family because over the past few years, you're the one that brought her into the UK all the time. And I think that was very important because the last show that she did here, that's when we discovered she was ill. She went to Amsterdam and on the way back she was ill and she had to miss the flight.
That's right.
So in many ways, it's very, very sad, very poignant. But what I want to say is that I'm sad that she's gone, but I think it's appropriate that she went on Mother's Day because Betty Wright was everyone's mother.
Mm. Totally.
Yes, perfect.
Indeed.
Thank you, Alistair.
Thank you.
Yeah. As I say, just tell the family that they are in our thoughts, and we wish them well. And they've always got a lot of support anyway in the UK.
And the next time you come on, we'll tell them about the Teddy Pendergrass story.
Okay, whenever you want.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Alistair.
Thanks, Alistair. See you.
Thank you, guys. God
Thank
bless you all.
Cool.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
And you
my
know,
word. Go on, Mike.
It's very hard for me to talk about, you know, to still talk about it. It's like, it's devastating. And, you know, one of the worst things is that you know, you can't get on a plane at the moment. If I had the opportunity to get on the plane, I'll be on the plane, I'll be right there. You know, Alistair talked about the last time, you know, I went to see Betty in September, and, you know, we was at her house and I was sitting on her bed, and she was just telling me stories and top of stories for 4 hours straight. And it was like, you know, he said it, you know, she's a lovely woman off the stage, and she's a lovely woman on the stage, and she embraces me and my family. And again, I say, you know, she's going to be missed, and, you know, sleep in eternal peace, Betty, Miss B.
Two things of my memory from Betty, right? When we did the Barbican, my second favorite memory was just going out into the audience and sitting down and watching her command that stage, and the way that she just flowed seamlessly with hits and had the crowd. For someone who is, how old was she, Michael?
She died at 66, she died, right?
She was 66, and she was Friday. She looked like she was 46 at least. And the way that she combined the music and brought it up to date. I remember when she done that mashup of LMA.
Yeah,
and I was
up
like,
and then straight into tripping, yeah.
And I was like, wow, it was just like, that was a dub plate moment right there, my
But you know what was really good? You know what really was really good? And, you know, you said it, you know, you sat down and you was in awe, but we've got to remember that you saw her 2 years ago before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I did. Yeah.
And then you saw her 2 years before that. So, you know, like, the fact that she came, like, Barbican 6 years later on, and she still delivered something that you was like, you know, wow.
But you know what I loved about the Barbican? But you know what I loved about the Barbican? Because,
tell me.
Because you said, Ray, bring her on stage. And I was like, who, me? And I said, okay, cool. Because I was DJing there, and I didn't expect to. I wasn't expecting to introduce any artists on the stage anyway. So I introduced Betty right on stage, and that was always a moment. You know, when you introduce one of the icons, one of the people that you've grown up. That my alarm went. Remind me to speak about that in a minute. What that you've grown up with, playing her records to people in parties, into blues, into warehouses, and you've built what you have. She was one of the artists that you built your reputation off of. Yeah, that will always stand out for me forever. And then we had to get her back onto stage because, you know, the people then wanted an encore. That was a very poignant moment for me to do that. That was just great. Yeah.
And as much as I have literally destroyed any chance of getting on Rare Groove Legends,
why have you done that?
With that faux pas, I just like to apologise. Sometimes you're thinking about it, and that's it. But you know, for Betty Wright, you know, honestly, her music and her voice and the way she conveys a song, for me, has always been in that category. I said it on my radio show, you know, with the likes of Aretha Franklin and some of the great, you know, female vocalists. You just cannot not, you know, even that DJ Khaled record that she recorded, Jesus Christ, man, the song, you could hear the difference.
Holy Key.
Yeah, the difference, you could just hear the difference between to modern day singers.
And a real
still had it, you know, that passion, that fire in her voice, and when just amazing.
Definitely one of the greats. And as I said, we wish her family the well, and we'll keep on banging those tunes out as we do.
Of course.
All right.
Never stop.
So before we move on to our next bit of the show, my alarm went, and And I did that on purpose. I set the alarm from early on today. Today is Wednesday, and it's Weed Man Wednesday. We're supposed to be going outside to give a clap to the Weed Man them. But obviously they're not there because, you know, they're not going to get there till 10:30. So we'll go back outside at 10:30. So I just thought I'd do that because that's a little thing that came out of one of my weekend shows.
Weed Man Wednesday.
Weed Man Wednesday. Apparently they're one of the
It's like Landscape Gardeners Day or something like that.
The sixth emergency service.
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
I think they're supposed to be.
All of them.
Weed Man Wednesday, go jail on a Thursday. No, Weed Man Wednesday, lock up Thursday. So
just to remind everybody about our polls, online at the moment as well. Please do keep voting and keep sharing if you can, and keep voting. Big up to all those. It is the Ravers edition, so I suppose we want to mention quite a few people who are contributing. Sandy says beautiful interview. Roger Bailey is tipping his hat to Alistair. Alison Etienne giving some love and flowers and prayers as well. Keep the comments coming, guys. We do read them when we can. I don't know why you're laughing for, Ray. I'm reading those ones.
Yeah. I think it's a Shirley Brown moment.
You know what? Everybody has their moment. Diane Abbott had numbers moment. Pretty Patel had their numbers moment, and I just had my moment. But you know what? I can embrace it and I'll take it. It was just me in the moment, and it was the wrong way. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I made a mistake.
Yeah, you did, but we're not going to dwell on that.
Big up to Lolly.
Big up to everybody who's joined us. Welcome to Set the Trend Podcast. Remember, we're on Set the Trend Podcast on Facebook, and we're partnered by The Spot, so you can catch us on The Spot. Or you can go to our YouTube channel, Set the Trend Podcast. We're on there. Or we're streaming live through Fifth Avenue Official on twitch.tv, and you can catch us on there as well. So before we go to our next guest, who's in the building, in the waiting room, we're talking about Zoom parties, aren't we? And whether or not they have any potential to be the new club, to be the new revenue stream, as some may be calling it. Would you reckon, Reggie, as a
100%?
100%?
After watching a couple of Zoom parties, which I've been fortunate enough to get an invite to, I was at, I thought, right, Sunday, I did my radio show. No, beforehand, I went in incognito and just seeing what was happening. And then after I did my radio show on Sunday, I was really looking forward to seeing Lolly's set. And so I thought, all right, I'm going to tune in after my show. And I logged into the all-white Cocoa. I specifically went and ironed my Arsenal shirt. I'm still wearing one of the hats I was wearing. That's why I'm wearing this hat today. In tribute and salutes to you and the team for All White Cocoa. It was just amazing. The people, I felt the energy. I felt the vibe. I had my drink in my hand as well. I was bopping along, and I think it worked, It worked. That particular party, not everybody could do it, but you guys pulled it off, and it definitely, there was a future for it. A future. 100% in this current climate.
I think it is very difficult because I think a lot of people think it's Zoom or not Zoom.
Yeah.
And I get a bit perplexed by that because I don't see why the two can't work in tandem. You know what I mean? For now, you haven't got one option, so let's maybe embrace a different option. And the thing about Zoom is that it has a way of bringing us all together. It has that, just like we're here now, and like we're talking. You can be in any part of the world. You can be anywhere, and you can be in, and we can have that conversation. We can still be part of a moment.
Yeah.
Where you can't be part of a moment if there's nothing to make you part of a moment. And I think this feeling or this opinion that Zoom is not like a club. It's not like going out. I think it's the same that you get when you talk about people like records, for instance. Is the record an original, or is it a repress?
Yeah.
And really, that's only for the people that are album acts. That's only for the people who buy music. Joe Blogs doesn't give 2 cents whether it's real or not real. They don't even know. 99.9% of the time. All they want to know is that they're having fun, they're having joy, they're getting entertainment, you know what I mean? They're feeling that vibe and they're feeling happy. So when they leave there, when you leave them, or when they go and they leave you, they've forgotten all that was there, all that brought them unhappiness, all those bad feelings that was going on. That is the job of a DJ. That's the job of what we're supposed to be doing. So I don't know why we don't think it can operate. And for me, I don't know why I did it over 12 hours for anyway. I said to Ali, I don't know where we were going with that. I swear, I would not.
But it works. It worked. And, you know, even... Go on, Ray. Sorry, Michael.
No, I mean, what I liked about it, you know, I like the entertainment was from the beginning to the end. And I believe that setup that you had, and I'm not saying that you should do this, is worth paying for.
Yeah.
You know, there's other Zoom parties that I've watched, and no, you know, I don't know if I would pay for that. But, you know, you don't know what you're going to get. What you want to know is that when you pay for it, you're going to get some good entertainment. And I think you guys delivered that on Sunday.
And you know the scope of it. Watching,
and I'm not just saying that because it's you, by the way.
Yeah.
Just for the record, yeah.
The scope for it is amazing because you know what's so great? If you go to a club night, right? Okay, unless you're going to a specific kind of like Tomorrowland or someone like that where there's a huge production, you know, you're kind of like seeing the same monotonous thing, DJ after DJ, same background. The great thing with Zoom was you get to see all the ravers. You get to see the DJs themselves in their different elements. So, you know, you had Lolly with all that kind of like background happening. You had Master Steps with the live kind of, you know, thing happening as well. I just found it very engaging for me personally. And I think that, you know, the whole Zoom party thing can be taken to a whole new level if people become a bit more creative and really invest heavily into the creativity behind the imagery and stuff like that. I think it would be huge.
And this is the point that I don't think a lot of people do get. When you have a tragedy, any tragedy, you go for a period of darkness in your life, you go for a period where you don't know what's happening. Those are the times you and most artists and most business people will tell you they are at their most creative because that's the time they come out with something to pull themselves out of that hole, out of that place. They come up with an inspiration. They come up with something that makes them, again, get engaged with life, you know what I mean? And kind of live a little. And I think this is the time that we're all in where what I did like to see was that there were people who were on their own in that Zoom party, which they had no other way of engaging with anybody else or engaging with people who maybe was like-minded to want to just have a party and have some fun. There was families as well as on that Zoom party. So you had, you know, you had the son, you had the daughters, you know what I mean? And they was kind of getting involved with our music and our culture, which for me was, you know, that was very good to see that taking place.
I think that the entertainment was very, very important. The way that Master Steps, the way that Hollywood, the way that Dodd and Good Groove, the way they interacted with the audience, it was fantastic. They made sure everybody was a part of it. And, you know, the comments are coming through, you know. No, I would definitely pay for that, Karen Scarlett says. And then we've got Lisa Scarlett, one of their sisters. The world at the moment requires an outlet, and currently that outlet is Zoom. So, you know, there definitely is a place for it. I've got Michael Williams. I had a fantastic time. Zoom parties are great with a group of people. 12 hours was mad, but enough kept up with the pace. That's coming from Andrea. Anika, All White Coca was great. Zoom works for me right now, and it's great for all of us. But when it's safe to go out, I'll be back to raving, and those who don't rave can still do Zoom.
And Sheba says she would definitely pay for Coco. Oh, you mean?
Yeah, and you know what? I also watched a bit of
our brand manager.
You know, I also watched a bit of VVB, VVB's Soul Network stuff she was doing as well. I know tonight she's got her own thing going on, but you know, like her doing the Zumba classes and the whole kind of like quiz stuff and things like that. You know, all that type of stuff is stuff that you can. The great thing about Zoom is you can incorporate it into Zoom itself. Like, you know, like how Hollywood and people like that will take a moment to crack a joke and, you know, ask a question to the crowd when you guys are in your gigs.
Who's got any flour, self-raising flour in their house?
You couldn't have asked that a few weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think it's an outlet. I know there's people who have, you know, there's reservations from certain quarters about charging for a product.
Oh yeah, I forgot. While you're on that subject, what's your PayPal, mate? I need to send you some money for my experience, even though it was short, but it was good.
Well, that's cool,
and it's
mate.
worth
that
paying.
That one's for the community.
What's going on there?
That one's for the community.
Sorry, promoter.
Experience.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is, I know from some bits of the community, it's like it's an issue. It's a problem for, and some of the words that I've heard is DJs shouldn't be charging. They should be giving their services for free. They should be doing it because of the situation that we're in. So we shouldn't be charging. And I don't. And that's our next guest. Is Mark. If you just, we'll bring you in 1 second, mate. But I just need to get this out. And it's not that I'm defending anybody. I just think that, for me, if you're going to critique someone, you should be fair. And that's the most thing. I don't care who they are or what they do. You just need to be fair to them and to be knowledgeable about the whole situation. And if you're not in possession of the full facts behind something, then don't comment, because you look stupid. You know what I mean? And you'll be seen as ignorant. And to me, to comment on someone else's business when you don't know their business, you shouldn't comment. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be a comment aimed directly at the person, at the promoter. Some promoters, some DJs make their living out of DJing.
Yeah.
And people can't expect, I don't know why we expect to get things for free when some people are out there working, clapping on a Thursday, and that's all they do. You understand? And their bit of giving back is just saying, well, they said something that, you know, that said that somebody else is supposed to give back. You know, it's like the footballer analogy. People blame them for earning a whole heap of money and then say, well, they don't do this, they don't do that. But behind the scenes, there's a lot of them who have charities, who do things for people, but you don't know because you don't ask, but you just assume. And that mother of all assumptions is the thing that does not bring us together as it's supposed to be. And all it does is act as something that is so divisive, you know what I mean, that you start, it's a them and us situation. We just don't need that right now. You know what I mean? You just need to respect some people's business sometime. You don't know why they're doing it. You don't know the situation they're in. And if it's their job, if it's their career, you shouldn't expect anybody to do anything for free.
Yeah.
And you know, Lisa Scarlett again comes in and, you know, yes, you're not related to Karen. Thank you for that. It's a service and she has no issue paying for the service. The problem we have, we're not sure how long this will last. It's a revenue generating stream.
Yeah. Cool. Keith says Zoom works. I can visualize the team sorting a collaboration that includes DJs outside the UK on a regular basis. You know, I totally agree with that. You know, Prue, they're providing a service and it's still their time, so let them charge. Yes,
and that's what Dave says as well. Why not charge? You're providing a service for people's enjoyment. You know,
like I said last week.
Although we all agree, but they might not agree. And if you don't agree, you can put it down there. I mean, it's not a problem.
Let's make sure we're not just reading out the ones that they agree with.
Yeah, if you don't agree, then you can put it out there as well.
But like I said last week, I think the fair thing to do is whatever you're charging, whether it's £2 or £3, maybe donate £1 to some kind of community cause or to a local food bank or something in the community. Like for every £1 that is paid goes into something in the community. And I think that is the fair thing to do, where at least people who don't...
When you say fair, you make it sound like it's not fair.
Listen, at the end of the day, right, let's be real. If you're going to charge £2 for a Zoom party, that is 2 cheeseburgers at McDonald's. When you break it down, that is less than a cup of coffee in Costa. So, you know, it's and you're getting all of that talent and like you said earlier, you're getting all of that talent that you would normally pay 10, 15, 20 pounds to get to experience.
Yes, Michael Williams, we're DJs. We would say that. I'm not saying it because I'm a DJ, mate. I'm just saying, I'm sure that you're not delivering for free, mate. Yeah, I'm sure. I know your services, mate. Yeah. I'm sure you ain't delivering for free.
Sailing says maybe an idea would be to have sponsored parties.
Well, that's something
that's happening already, anyway.
Yeah, but that's something that we can look to towards. But I'm not saying that this is a start of everybody charging. I'm just saying, listen, it's a business. I don't necessarily see why DJs are just to be assumed that because people rave with us every week that we're supposed to be just playing for free every minute. There's so much great DJs that have been on streaming live that have been given their services for free. You know what I mean? It comes to a point where sometimes you think, okay, but yeah, they're supporting us and they've been supporting us through this. So what's the problem in supporting someone else's business? Because it is a business for some of them. Yeah. And some of them ain't lucky enough to have another business. Well, to get furloughed, exactly, to get furloughed or to be sitting at home on 100% money. And some of the DJs, and some of the people that are out here doing it are the only ones that have put on shows, are the only ones that have put on something for the community. They have done it. It's not like say they haven't done anything. They have done that. You don't know what else they've done. I definitely know they've done that. So if they all of a sudden say that they want to do something where they want to charge, I mean, it's business. This is what the world is on. They give free, you give and you take. It's,
And one of the good DJs from Sunday night, CLK says, we are entertainers with bills too.
Yeah. Listen, a CDJ.
Good point, mate.
CDJ 2000 Nexus 3 is £2,500. That ain't cheap. That's one CDJ if you're buying it new. So there are costs involved, and yeah, you're right.
What did I hear? I heard a comment from someone. I saw a comment from someone saying, "Yeah, it ain't costing them nothing to stream." Really? I was like, wow.
All I know is my Virgin bill is not very cheap. My Virgin broadband.
Your internet provider bill ain't cheap.
Yeah.
Amazon has been my best friend. You get me? Because I didn't have the streaming stuff that I had here. I had to go out and buy them stuff there. You get me? Anyway.
That's our next guest.
Let's just that leads us nicely on to our next guest. Mark is in the building. Mark Bowen, how are you, sir? Are you there? Can we have him on live and unmute and see these technical issues that we keep having at the minute.
There you go. You can hear me now. Yeah.
We can't see you, Mark. We
you haven't got your camera on.
Oh, there you go. What's that? Please. Yeah, I got it.
No camera. We can hear the voice, but can't see the picture.
Hey. Welcome to Set the Trend, Mark.
What's that then?
Have you been raving? Because you're somebody who frequents a lot of different cultures of music. You see what's happening right across the spectrum, and you've got a good handle into it. How do you see the lockdown and the kind of DJ commitment that's been going on from different cultures? There's been house, Afro house, there's been our culture.
Yeah. Well, I love it because you do see DJs put out their stuff, like you got the Invasion Crew, they've been doing their live, they got Pioneer, you got Super D. Super D's been trying to do his thing, but the internet connection, they have their technical difficulties, but I see what you guys been doing. I love the spot, what you have been doing. Like when you did the first live, when you said that you had Ali as the NHS worker.
Funny, but that's not funny. He is.
I know. Yeah. What? Because don't worry, we're social distance with Ali. I was like, yo, what is that man linking up? What's it? Party? Nobody tell me.
So have you been? Because
my mind at home. I was losing my mind at home. I said, nah, I'm missing out these dances.
But you've been to.
I'm supposed to be at the weekend.
But have you been to a Zoom party?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
What did you think about it?
It was heavy. I loved it. I said, you know what? And the thing is, the participation was wicked. Like the carnival one that Rampage did, that was banging.
Oh yeah, because Rampage did one over the weekend, didn't
Yeah, yeah. The carnival one. The carnival one was banging. And you know, they had a lot of like thousands. I think that I don't know how somebody said Zoom have a limit, and I don't know. They had like 2,000 or more people.
Yeah, but they also did it on YouTube as well. So
so they had the people had their carnival outfits on, you know, with the rum. So I got my flag and I was waving it with my rum, and I said, since they cancelled carnival, I was like, oh my god, here we go, yeah. But safety is first, in it. So yeah, boom.
So you found it as an experience that doesn't replace clubbing, but
it doesn't replace clubbing, but it keeps you connected, like, you know, like with the especially for the music, like, you know, like for instance, when you lot are playing certain tunes, like when Ali played them plates there, I was like, God damn it, I wish I had that right. You played some. Remember when he played them tunes there, and he has like, and you lot was busting jokes about the tune because it was a high pitched one. Whatever the dove he played, I was like, that tune is wicked. I was like, yo. I said, yo, I had to reach into my thing. Anytime on Sunday I do a live stream, I'm in my kitchen.
Mark,
I play two tunes. I said, yeah, you listen, because I've been doing this thing for time. So
yeah. Mark, I got a question for you. I don't know your relationship status, your current relationship status, but if you were single, how would you get around the problem of inviting a lady to the dance via Zoom? That's one thing that, you know, I thought about when I was in that Zoom party.
Do you know what? Yeah, my partner, she has to understand that if it's I'm inviting people to the party, I'm promoting. Yeah, because I had when I was doing promotion parties. Anyway, I had problems about that because you're chatting to this, chatting to that, and get all that. So, but I said, then she realized that, you know what, it's a business, and I'm not trying to go and link each one of these women.
Yeah, but
I should hope not.
Yeah, but no. You know what? Not necessarily. You know, obviously from your perspective, you've got a partner, so now I've ascertained that. It kind of like doesn't make sense. My question, say for instance, if you were single, I was trying to think to myself, imagine sending somebody a Zoom invite to a party to say, babes, you're my date at a Zoom party. How would you bring a date to a Zoom party? And that's what I was trying to find the conundrum behind, you know?
But do you know what? I've seen people make it work. How?
You can't get no kiss at the end of the night. You can't get no rub down.
I know, but like I've seen them, like, I've known a guy, he told me, he met this girl on Zoom, they're chatting, they're doing some video stuff,
webcam.
Yeah, they're doing some webcam stuff afterwards, you know, like where, but
I don't know what you speak of, mate.
So they organized to, like, meet up. Some people are still meeting up through this lockdown anyway, regardless.
Are they?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're just MPs and scientists and all that.
Scientists, yeah, exactly.
Big dogs, yeah.
They're still like I have to try and keep my son inside the house. I said, you young people don't understand what's going on out here. He's losing his mind. He want to go out to his friends. Because they're both into music, they're always in the studio, so that's cool. I said, go studio, go home. Yeah.
So, Mark, as a raver, Zoom parties, again, you would pay to go, and how much would you pay?
Do you know what? I'll pay for Zoom parties because you know what? I'm getting entertained. I'm getting entertained by the DJ, and you know what? DJ's time ain't free. Electric ain't free, you know, internet ain't free, and whatever the equipment they pay for ain't free. So if it's but a reasonable price, you know, £2-3, you know what, even up to a £5, I said, yeah, boom. Because
you go as far as high as a £5.
Yeah, you know, do you know what's called
with a VIP room?
Yeah.
Probably did.
Just bring me a bottle, imaginary bottle. I'm like, listen, Tory Lanez did it. Listen, when Tory Lanez broke the Instagram with his
Quarantine
Tory
radio.
Lanez
Radio.
the quarantine radio. Listen, they realized that this can make money. Like where they got the Zoom part, the Instagram ones. But the thing is, he broke the record, and then they banned his account because people are coming on doing
Madness.
madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the celebrities jumping in, but everybody is drinking with each other. People are connecting with people. You know what? Where we say when we used to go to work, and people don't look at each other and talk to nobody. Everybody wants to talk to somebody else. So out there.
Yeah. So when social distancing is over, and the lockdown is over, what's going to make you feel comfortable to go back out into the club? Are you just happy to go in there freely, or you got some?
I will still go. I will go. My friends already said, yeah, listen, as soon as, because there's a meme that where they goes, don't ask me when, just tell me, don't ask me, are you free? Just tell me when and where. But do you know, it's that I don't know when this thing is, because I'm not getting no vaccine. I don't know what's going on with this vaccine stuff. So I don't know. We don't know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
But I would like to go out. I would say, but the thing is, the whole social distancing thing, I don't know. Because you would expect everybody to social distance, so you don't know if that person's been out and gone and been in contact with some carrier or whatever, and you're trying to bring it back home. So no. So
I said one of the solutions is this.
Yeah.
People get tested. Obviously, the government's starting to ramp up the testing program allegedly, and maybe a wristband of some sort that kind of like has a. I know it sounds a bit. What's that movie where everybody's chipped, but not necessarily chipped, but just a wristband that has some information on there that when you go to the door, the same way you got the ID scanners where you show your ID.
Yeah, they're scanning it.
Yeah, you scan your wristband to say, right, okay, do you know what? I'm COVID.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Party,
That's a good idea because they were saying, remember, we were talking about this app. Everybody has to have this app. What is the app going to do?
Exactly.
Track you, mate.
Nothing.
Exactly. What is the app going to do? Because the thing is, the app is supposed to tell you. How can the app tell you? I know you got the fingerprint scanner and all that stuff, but how the app can tell if you have to tell the app exactly what. And some people ain't gonna be honest, because if they do have it, they don't want to know that they have it. They don't want to be known to be having it, so they don't want to be alienated. So they're gonna lie on the app. And then, but it's just that the fact that if they have been tested or gone to the hospital or whatever, that's where they'll be logged, and then that app will tell that person, because it does track you. It tracks where you've been. Like where if I've come check you and I've been gone to test it, and you get a warning to say that you've been in contact with somebody that had it.
That does that, yeah. But I mean, there's been a big debate over that still about whether or not it is viable, because there are things that it doesn't track. But Mark, thank you for being on there. We've got to wrap it up now because we've got to come in there to the end. But thanks for coming on, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
And as soon as I see you out,
pass on any people you think might want to date me on Zoom. And I'll take that
there we go. Thank you, Mark. We'll see you later. Do not encourage him.
I thought Tinder was your go-to, Reggie.
Funny.
I don't know. Anyway, Mark, thanks, yeah?
Yeah, cool.
See you later, Mark. Thank you.
Vibes. Dave Tobler from Men at Large, he wants me to set up a UK live stream. So when you guys ready, we'll chat about that anyway. So
yes, please, yeah. Our producers will talk to you off page and sort that out. That sounds very good. Problem. Men at Large. Yeah. Nice one, Mark. Thank you for keeping us in your thoughts. Cool. Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Thank you, yeah.
Hey, interesting. I saw where was that comment? I just saw a comment on here, and I've got to go back to that. I don't know where it's gone now. I saw Anika made a comment about I think it was the fact that she was saying that we all should be in this together because of the fact that people will be losing their jobs soon.
Yeah.
EastEnders was there and he's gone, but maybe the show's better without him anyway.
I don't know.
Maybe the show's better without him. That's funny because
I got one here.
hold on. I'd like to answer Anika back.
Yeah. Sorry.
With that comment.
Mm.
Yeah, but one of the jobs that we do also have as a community and as a business as well is to get people back on their feet if they lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Whether they choose to do that by changing their career or they choose to do that by developing and creating another business to support themselves, because nobody wants to support people. You don't really want to do that. You'd rather people are out there earning their own money and earning enough money so that brings our taxes down and and we can put more taxes if we need to towards things that we want to, like the NHS, for instance. So if a certain person or a certain group of people are trying to develop something that is not legal, and it's not illegal, should I say, it is legal, to develop a revenue stream.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
There's no problem with that. No, there's no problem with that at all. I mean, for me personally, like, the tow charging thing, at first I thought, nah. But then when I saw the scope and what can be done with it, I was sold. I just said, you know what, I will pay for this. I'll pay £2 to experience this. If it was my favorite DJ playing, I'll pay £2 to go and watch my favorite DJ do their thing as well. I mean, some people are talking about like Facebook is unstable, and you pay £2 and Facebook goes. But there's other platforms. There's places like Twitch, which is like constant. Mixcloud have got their new live thing, which they got happening as well at the moment. And I've seen quite a few DJs actually have their PayPal and their Cash App details, and they are making money. People are donating money. Some people are not saying, right, I'm going to charge you. Some people are kind of like subtly saying, well, it'd be great if you could make a donation. And that's nothing different to what Wikipedia do. It's nothing different to what The Guardian do, where they have these little pop-up screens saying, would you like to donate? Now and again, I've done it. I have donated to Wikipedia before because I think it's a fantastic service that I want to keep going.
I'm just laughing because EastEnders just disappeared. It's
I
like,
know.
It's like,
where's the Ravers edition? So
it looked like the Ravers or his wife dragged him off.
Yeah, no, maybe
you've been on the phone too long, mate.
Maybe somebody didn't want to see came in the shout box. I'm not sure, but anyway, It's not Campbell says, yeah, that's true, Reggie. But even if you've been tested and got all declared, doesn't mean that you catch it after. And it's still up in the air. Debs Robbo says it will trace the contact you've had with people. It's about public trust. That they're talking about the app thing. There's also, I prefer the disruption face brings. Beats watching people holding their head and looking bored on Zoom. I don't know if you're trying to. I don't know what it is. Anyway,
no, I'm just looking at the comments. But Roger Bailey just said, Roger Bailey makes me laugh. But Anika saying that's not what she said. I said there was a suggestion to give a percentage of Zoom money to the community, and I said I thought that was a good idea, as there will be many in the communities losing jobs and using food banks. So where we can where I do stand corrected, then you know what I mean. So
you read it wrong.
I did read it slightly wrong.
No, okay. So apologies to Anike on behalf
of that. Right, here let's go into some of the. We've had a poll. We've had 3 polls running for you. So let's go through the polls and see what they was what you lot polled and said. We said, following lifting of lockdown and to ease your concerns with the further spread of the virus, would you prefer paperless payment to gain entry into events? And it was a simple yes or no question. And it's a resounding 33 to 8. Yeah, so that's a big percentage there, isn't it? So,
hold on, what's the percentage?
33. No, it's 33 votes to 8. So what's that? That's about 75% or something like that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm great at maths, but it's something like that. I know someone coming in. Yeah. EastEnder has gone to make some bakes. Is he? I didn't know that. I thought he was Jamaican.
I think he's gone out to clap for the weed man. Big up Alton Alexander.
Maybe like the clap for the weed man. Yeah, you're right there. The other question that we asked on the poll was, how willing would you be to pay to attend a virtual or Zoom party as the interim norm? this being over the next 3 to 6 months? Likely
key
or unlikely? We had 53 votes in that one. And 23 said they were likely, 30 said they were unlikely. So that's more closer. That's a bit more closer.
Hold on, how many? 53.
No,
Votes
53 overall, and
Okay,
23 said
yes,
they
it's
were
like
likely
55%.
to, and 30 said they was unlikely to.
Right, okay.
And Goody voted in that one, and I don't need to look at what he voted. I don't think.
I'm sure he voted in favour.
He's getting what, you can't grab your missus's phone, mate. What's going on? Or your son's iPad. Eh? Let's go into this one.
The show must go on, mate. The show
must go on, and it's so much better without him. Free flowing, you know what I mean? It looks much more beautiful in here, you know what I mean? Like with him in here, you know what I mean? The last question that we asked, not that he makes it look a bit. Anyway, how likely are you to attend mass gatherings? This is the social distancing question. Once the UK lockdown is lifted.
Yeah.
24% said they were very likely to. 76% said they was very unlikely to attend mass gatherings once the UK lockdown lifted. And my issue with that is not that I have an issue, because it's not an issue per se. And thank you all for voting. If you did vote and you did make your stand known, your position known, thank you for that. Very interactive way of us looking at some of your answers to that. I think we're going to be dragged into the new normal, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And I'll give you examples. Watching Sky News this morning, they showed a clip of people getting on and off the train.
Yeah.
There was no social
bus.
distancing, and the bus, nothing, no social distancing was going on at all. To that, nothing.
Yeah, but what can you do?
Yeah, but this is the thing. When people say, I'm not going to go raving, I'm saying fine, because that is your choice. But I'm saying you're going to get dragged into it, whether you liked it or not, it looks like, because a large majority of us, the way that we go to work is by public transport. Driving isn't possible because you got to go for the congestion charge. Then to park your car, you're paying £4 every 10 minutes or 20 minutes.
ULEZ on top of that.
It is just a nightmare. But public transport, the government is talking about social distancing, and social distancing becomes a thing of the past once you get on a train, once you get on a bus. Michael O'Leary said today, the owner for, is that EasyJet or Ryanair? He said he ain't taking out the middle seat. Yeah. He's selling the middle seat unless the government pay him not to sell the middle seat.
Yeah.
Social distancing will not happen on any of these planes.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that if that happens on a plane that I am going to my next dues at, am I going to go? I certainly am going to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that, no, everybody's situation is different. But I will be jumping on a plane. I will be going as soon as possible that I can fly out and get away from this country. I will be jumping.
Yeah, but Michael O'Leary is a maverick. He always comes up with it. He's the king of PI. He's the new Richard Branson, but with a bit of a sting in the tail. Do you know what I mean? You know, so I would definitely 100% not get on a plane unless I was.
Hey, what?
Oh, is he back?
Was you got a toilet? Was that a toilet break, mate? Did you wash your hands? This is what we want to know.
Oh, we can't hear him.
And now we can't hear you, so let's just forget about him for this.
He's had some laxatives, I think. The laxatives has caught up with him.
Yeah. But that's my thing, that whether or not you like it or not, I've got a feeling that we're going to get dragged into this herd mentality anyway, because of the fact that...
Herd immunity.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me, Reggie.
That's all right.
Whether we like it or not. Talking about sending young people to school, we're talking about sending 5 and 6 year olds and telling them to social distance in a playground. I'd like to see them make that happen.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that? You know what was so heartbreaking was they've been doing it already. What they've done is they've drawn squares into the playground, and every kid is literally stuck in each square. It was. I was so heartbroken because it was like reminiscent of being on a farm. You know, when they separate the animals on a farm in the sheep in the pens. And I thought, this is not what kids should be having to go through, man. You know, your first instinct as a kid is you want to go and hug your friend. You haven't seen them for so long. And then somebody's telling you can't even play with your friend. That's all part of growing up. It's part of that social interaction of society. That's what makes you as a person when you're younger.
Yeah.
You know, so I really feel it for a lot of these youngsters who are not even able to interact in the playgrounds when they...
It's going to be hard. I do understand why the government, you know, they do say you're supposed to social distance. I do 100% understand it, especially if you've got older people in your family and they are in that category of people who, you know, who may be more vulnerable to it or not. And we are, by nature, it came out this week that we are vulnerable to it as a black male. Which is very interesting because for black males, that brings up the next challenge. You know what I mean? Will people look at us when they go to employers as, well, if you are in the category that you may get coronavirus easier than my other workers, I'm not going to employ black males. I'm going to employ white males or someone else from...
Am I back in, guys? Can you hear me?
Finally.
Yeah, but you come in when we're having a conversation and you can't just butt in. And Reggie, and I like the thing is that poses up problems for black males who are already one of the most vulnerable groups in society. Anyway, when he talks about getting jobs and underrepresented and so forth. So it's going to be a hard time for us and us as a whole as a black community.
Yeah, and Raven's not going to be at the top of a lot of people's list. Like,
no, it's not.
It's not going to be at the top of people's list. But then again, you know what I think is going to happen? I think because we've been on lockdown for so long, there's going to be maybe 2 or 3 weeks where people go absolutely mental. You know, like if you work in a job and you're in a job all week and you're looking forward to that Friday down at the pub or the club, I think that kind of like environment and that feeling is going to happen, but multiplied by like 1,000. And that's going to happen the first couple of weeks. That's going to happen. And then eventually people are going to go, well, hold on a second. If there is a second wave, which I'm praying that there isn't, of this COVID corona thing, then that is going to definitely 100% wake up quite a few people and they're going to go, look, I ain't doing it. Unless you're one of these crazy hippies who just doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? You know, and for our community, like you said, us being more vulnerable.
And these are the stats that are borne out by the people who have died so far. You know what I mean? They have black males are the highest proportion of people who have died. Black females come next, and Asians are after that, if I do believe right. So these are stats that are out there. You can see it because you see the people who died. You see the color of the people that died. The ones, you know, the numbers that they're showing us, because obviously there's a lot more numbers in care homes that they're not showing us that I do believe that have died from that. But that's another story. But we need to be careful as a community that we get on the right panels. We're in the right conversations with the people who make these who are going to make these decisions. You know what I mean, and that we're not put to the wayside, because again, you know, this whole situation for black people per se is a hustle. We've been used to hustle for ever since our parents came to this country. It's always been a hustle for us. So, you know, we kind of know, but it's going to get really harder for us to hustle, and our futures, you know what I mean, you know, and our children and our grandchildren, it's going to even be a harder hustle for them if we don't get through it though. Together.
Do you know what? We'll get through it though, Ray. I'm a half glass full type of person, and I'm very optimistic that I think we will get through it. I think we will find a solution. There's a lot of very clever people out there in the world. There's a lot of geniuses, and, you know, people have done a lot of things, especially from the black community. We have found ways to be adaptive, to be diverse. We've found ways to be able to use nothing and turn it into something. We've always been able to bring something to the table.
Always innovators.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'm quite half glass full, and I think that, you know, 100% it will come good. I mean, obviously, you know, we'll always never forget the people that sadly lost their life due to this situation, and don't want to do anything to try and exaggerate that situation and put anybody else in that position. But, You know, somebody said to me the other day, they said, Reg, do you know what? People have come, and, you know, I was really down about that whole Thai thing. And they said, you know, he said to me, Reg, look, he said, you have to always remember the world goes on. The world keeps turning. People will still be doing what they're doing and innovating. So, you know, you've got to take what we've got and basically
be positive.
our lives
That's
around
right.
it.
Just be positive and come together as a community.
You know?
And on the poll, my producers are telling us, guys, can you put in the messages why you voted that way, if you voted. Want to know why you took the position that you did and why you voted like that. And the poll remains open as well if you want to go back and vote.
There's an interesting comment I've just seen. Debs Robbo says, this will drive raving underground. House dances will be popping up. You reckon?
Well, here what? Interesting you say that, because I've seen comments over the weekend of that about people going to parties. And I'm like, what party is this? Because obviously I'm like close to the streets. I would like to think so. I ain't been back to one party yet, but there's parties popping up. There are parties going on, actually. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think it's because you're a media star. That's why, if you know.
But I will go. I will tell you. No, I shouldn't say that. No,
like these parties popping up though, these underground parties. You know, I'm not getting anywhere near them. You know, do you want to invite?
I just to say that your head looks kind of funny, lad. I don't know if it's the camera angle or
the camera.
Doesn't it, Reg?
Yeah. What you not done?
He's like a cocoa bean.
You're too funny. Someone's getting sacked in the morning anyway. Yeah. No. Well, one of the producers are getting sacked in the morning.
Sorry. I said it's like a meeting. That's cool. That's coming at school. Oh my days. My days.
Anyway.
I called my beanie. Hey, listen. Oh my gosh, he said that.
That's what happens when you drop off, mate. That's what happens when you drop off. That's what happens when you drop off, mate.
Someone thought I was the guest and cut me out of the group.
Oh really? Oh dear.
One of the producers ain't gonna be too happy in the morning.
Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, that's their salary cut.
Yep. Yep.
I couldn't even be there. I'm crying. I've got tears.
Listen, I want to big up the ravers anyway that have been putting their comments on. I'm trying to read. We're trying to read as many as possible. They're just coming so fast. Said, did you see the video on Facebook of the? I don't want to say that one. No.
What was that?
He says Maria Bryan says vitamin D and zinc. Yeah, I've been taking my zinc and my vitamin D tablets myself. And
1 a day, 2 a day. What are you taking?
Somebody's laughing at you, Ray. Carol Scott says, Ray, close to the streets.
Carol, when you assume stuff, yeah, you always get in trouble. Yeah, I'm probably closer to the streets than what you are. Don't have to personally be there. You should know that my network is extensive. I listen to people. Yeah, always got my ear on the ground. So
and actually, Carol, don't forget he's the one that brought up about clap for the weed man. So
thank you. I got Roadman following me on a Sunday. On a Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. Anyway, gee, I loved it. Another edition of Set the Trend podcast has come to an end, lads.
It's been a funny one, isn't it?
It's been a funny one.
me getting Shirley Brown mixed up with Betty Wright, to Betty Wright's manager, and then Michael coming back looking like a cocoa bean.
Listen, you don't find that funny. He's screwing up. What he did, he absolutely thanks. He got a cocoa bean. You see how cocoa beans are small and black and
I'm just saying, this is what it's like.
Security!
This is like a small black girl. This is so unprofessional. All right, listen, we're going. Next week, Wednesday, we'll be here live. I swear that we will be professional. Sorry, I do apologize.
Michael, I just want to say no hard feelings, mate.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
I
all
do
right, man.
apologize.
It's all right.
No hard feelings.
You're funny.
You're a Kimco.
I do apologize. EastEnder, what are you doing for the rest of the week, mate? Let's get out of here.
What we got this week? I know it's a very low key week this week.
Oh, look at you.
Nothing on the schedule.
Okay.
Planned yet.
Cool. Reggie?
This week, well, radio show as per usual, and also I am actually taking my FCA exam on Friday.
You what?
Financial Conduct Authority, to get approved for doing finance. So just to let people know, you know, us as DJs, people like myself, sadly, I can't get furloughed. So I've decided to take it upon myself to try and diversify and do what I've always wanted to do, which is go into finance as well. But I'll still be DJing, you'll be happy to know. I haven't retired. But that's it, really.
Cool. You can catch me Saturday and Sunday doing my thing
On the streets in your gated community.
on the streets in my gated community. On the streets. I don't know why people think I'm not street. I'm very street. 8 till 11. You can catch me on Facebook Live on the Fifth Avenue's page. Also Instagramming on Instagram Live, also on twitch.tv. And I'm going to try and do the Mixcloud this week and stream live from there as well.
Is that up and running now?
It is. I mean, I've had it for 2 weeks. I just haven't activated it properly yet. I did, because I keep rushing. I keep thinking I'm playing time, and I get there, and then time runs out, and I go live, and I just leave it. But I'm going to try and do it this week.
Yeah. I'll be watching, mate. I'll be watching.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for your support, because I know you're close to the streets, Reggie. One of my streets. one of my streets, brethren. East. I know you're. Whoa. A couple of our producers are very close to the streets, so I know Touch T, the spot, he's very close to the streets, and so is J2 is very street. He's very street.
Yeah. He's the streetest out of all of us.
You know, he is
the street.
He is. So
the Gremlin street.
Yeah. So there's not a problem. We have advisors in the camp who keep us grounded and keep us close to the streets. I'm not street. Can you believe that? I'm not street. Can you believe that? She said, me close to the streets. My days. Street culture, street sounds, and I'm one of the street sounds, and I'm not close to the streets. I don't know. Maybe I need
thanks to everybody for putting their comments in. Big thank you to everybody for putting their comments in. It's been a great read and some great constructive messages. I'm looking forward to reading back because we always miss them. So
yeah, we do.
We have to read back after. Yeah.
How long's the polls open for, guys? Is it today, or is it open throughout the week?
Another 24 hours.
Yeah,
I think. At least.
Another 24 hours. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Great show, and thanks to you. We wouldn't do the show if it wasn't for you guys. Thank you for being part of it. It wouldn't be 3/4 as good if it wasn't for you guys. And we thank you for logging onto us every week to see what we're up to. Set the Trend live on your Facebook, YouTube. Going to YouTubers. Sorry, I didn't mention the YouTube as much as I should. Thank you for watching live on our YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much. And on subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your dog, get your cat. Everybody. Like the Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do. Anyway, thank you. We'll see you guys next week, and I'll be on at the weekends. And Reggie will be on his show, and EastEnder will be looking at a black bean and saying, did they really call me a black bean? So we're out of here. See you next week. Peace, love.
See you later, guys.
Big up the spot, our partners as well. Big them up as well. Thanks very much. Bye.